everybody, Lily here with my awesome sister Rachel.
Hey!
And today I'm going to be reading the story of the first day of Cloudpelt. Woohoo! So we're going to be diving in and doing a lot of reading today. For his day, it's going to be in Yellowfang Secret. It's pages 282 through 294. Woohoo! We got a long road ahead of us. So she pretty much brings this apprentice back from the brink of death. He has an injury similar to what Tiger Star died of from Scourge, and she brings him back and he doesn't die. She keeps all of his organs from falling out, so. Let's check out this awesome surgery medicine cat skills. Alright, so in this part of the book, Yellowfang is a medicine cat, and she's still kind of seeing Ragged Pelt. They're still kind of dating and seeing each other in secret, but this experience changes that, and I think they stop seeing each other after this experience. So, stick with me and we will see what happens. I should be looking for herbs, Yellowfang told Ragged Pelt, sitting up and shaking scraps of dried leaves from her pelt. What's Sage Whisker going to say if I come back empty-pawed? There's plenty of time, Ragged Pelt assured her, stretching out lazily. But it's leaf fall already. We have to build up our stocks before the first frost. Remember how short of supplies we were last, Leaf Bear? We'll go back soon. I should be preparing Cloudpelt for his final assessment. Ragged Pelt let out a snort of amusement. Do you know that scattered brain apprentice still hasn't learned that squirrels can climb trees faster than he can? I have to keep reminding him to stalk them out in the open. Guilt flooded over Yellowfang. Then we have to go now. Ragged Pelt gave her a gentle nudge. We aren't hurting any cat, he reassured her. We meet all of our responsibilities. The clan is as safe and protected as it can be. He pressed his muzzle against her shoulder. This is still our secret. Yellowfang couldn't help suppress a rising purr. It's true. These times with Ragged Pelt are the happiest moments I've ever known. Don't forget, Ragged Pelt went on, leaning close to her. You're only an apprentice. You can still change your mind. I would make sure that you'd never have to fight in a battle. I'll be leader soon after all, and I'll do everything to keep you safe. So yeah, in this point in the book, she just decided to become Sage Whisker's apprentice because she couldn't fight as a warrior anymore because the pain was too great, because she can feel other cats when they're in pain. So she decided to become a medicine cat apprentice. But Ragged Pelt is still in love with her, and we all know that medicine cats can't have mates. Back to the story. Curled up warmly into his fur, Yellowfang was tempted for a heartbeat. But then she thought of everything that she had learned from Sage Whisker. And she knew again that this was the path she had to follow. At least for a while. She shook her head. Ragged Pelt gave her a gentle nudge. I'll persuade you yet, he murmured. Before Yellowfang could respond, a terrible screeching filled the forest. Together, the two cats leaped to their paws. It's one of our patrols, Ragged Pelt exclaimed. They're being attacked! Shoulder to shoulder, Yellowfang and Ragged Pelt bolted through the trees, following the sound. Heartbeats later, they came into a clearing. Staring across the open space, Yellowfang saw 4 of her clanmates grappling with 4 huge rogues. The stink of two-leg placed cut in her throat, making her gag. Ragged Pelt let out a roar of fury and leapt into battle. He flung aside a rogue who was pinning Rowanberry down, and crashed into the flank of another who was lunging for Blizzardwing's throat. They fled, screeching, and the other 2, realizing they were outnumbered, raced after them. And don't come back! Ragged Pelt yelled after them. Yellowfang padded into the clearing. Rowanberry scrambled to her paws and helped Blizzardwing up. Wolfstep flung himself in the pursuit of the rogues, only to come back at a sharp order from Ragged Pelt. All 3 of them looked battered, but Yellowfang could see that their injuries weren't serious. It was my fault, Rowanberry gasped. I was leading the patrol. I should have scented them, but they jumped out on us. They were just looking for trouble, Ragged Pelt snarled. Yellowfang scanned the clearing. She had seen 4 of her clanmates fighting, but she could only account for 3. Where's the 4th cat? She caught a glimpse of white fur among a clump of ferns, and raced over to see Cloudpaw, lying ominously still. Oh no, she yelped. What is he doing here? Ragged Pelt gasped as he came to stand beside her to look down at his motionless apprentice. He couldn't find you, Rowanberry admitted, so he asked if he could come on the border patrol to practice his scenting skills before his final assessment. She hesitated, then added reluctantly, I let him take the lead. He didn't pick up any scent of intruders until it was too late. Trying to ignore the stricken look in Ragged Pelt's eyes, Yellowfang bent over the apprentice. At first, she couldn't see anything wrong with him, so she carefully let go of her control so that she could feel his pain. At once, agony surged through her. She felt as though some fierce creature was inside her, trying to claw its way out through her belly. Her head reeling from it, her legs beginning to buckle. She reached out and gently turned Cloudpaw over. His belly had been slashed open. The grass underneath him was scarlet from his blood. "Oh, is he dead?" Rowanberry whispered. Yellowfang shook her head. She had already spotted the faint rise and fall of Cloudpaw's chest. Forcing herself to block off the pain again, she turned to the other cats. "Wolfstep, run back to camp and warn Sage Whisker. Blizzardwing, find me some cobwebs. Try under those bushes. I have to stop the bleeding before we can move him." I'll carry him," Raggedpelt mewed hoarsely. Once Yellowfang had covered the wound with cobwebs, Raggedpelt insisted on taking Cloudpaw on his shoulders, even though the apprentice was nearly full grown. Staggering under his weight, with Yellowfang and Blizzardwing on either side, he struggled back to the clearing. Wolfstep had already alerted the clan, who gathered around Raggedpelt as he carried his apprentice through the tunnel. Nettlespot let out a piteous wail when she saw her son. "Oh, my precious kid! Save him! You must save him!" "We'll do our best," Yellowfang promised her. The two newest apprentices, Nightpaw and Clawpaw, watched in alarm as Raggedpelt progressed slowly across the clearing, until their mentors, Foxheart and Crowtail, came up and swept them away. At last, Raggedpelt reached the medicine cat's den and laid Cloudpaw gently down on a bed of moss. Sage Whisker flicked him with her tail as he tried to settle down beside his apprentice. "No, Raggedpelt," she meowed. "You've done all you can. It's time to let us take over." Raggedpelt looked as if he was about to argue, and then rose to his paws in silence. With one last look at Cloudpaw, he left the den, his head and tail drooping. Yellowfang watched as Sage Whisker bent over Cloudpaw and eased the cobwebs away from his wound. When she had laid the gash bare, the medicine cat looked up, meeting Yellowfang's gaze. "Oh, it's very serious," she mewed. "It might be kinder to let StarClan take him now." "No!" Yellowfang hissed. "This cat will not die! I will care for him myself if you're willing to give up." Furious with Sage Whisker for admitting defeat, Yellowfang went to the entrance of the den and stuck her head out. "Hey!" she called to Nutwhisker, who was padding past. "Fetch me some wet moss as quickly as you can!" Her brother dashed off, and Yellowfang went to the herb stores and uncovered horsetail, goldenrod, and marigold, which she mixed together in a poultice. Crouching beside Cloudpaw, she licked the wound until it was clean as she could make it, then bound the poultice in place with strands from cobwebs and thorn bushes. After a moment, she felt Sage Whisker beside her, holding the leaves in place while Yellowfang secured the cobweb. "I won't stop you from trying to help him," the old medicine cat told her, "but you must be prepared for the worst." By the time the wound was dressed, Nutwhisker was back with a jaw full of dripping moss. Yellowfang squeezed some water into Cloudpaw's mouth. He was still unconscious. She watched the slight movement of his chest, the only thing that told her he was still alive. Icy fear froze Yellowfang from ears to tail-tip as she thought those feeble breaths might stop altogether. The sun was going down behind the trees, and a chilly wind rose. "I'll stay with him," Yellowfang told Sage Whisker, as she settled down beside him. "I'll keep him warm." Sage Whisker nodded and went out to check the scratches of the other cats who had been in the fight. Darkness had fallen by the time she returned. She came over for another look at Cloudpaw and then curled into her own nest. "Call me if there's a problem," she meowed to Yellowfang before closing her eyes. Yellowfang sat beside the injured apprentice, gazing up at the sky as the warriors of StarClan emerged. "Was this our fault?" she whispered. "Did it happen because Raggedpelt and I were together? Please, StarClan, send me a sign. If you're angry with us, please don't punish this apprentice. He's too young to come to you yet." But the stars glittered coldly above her, and she didn't know if her plea had been heard. Weariness eventually overcame Yellowfang, and she fell into a doze. Then she felt a cat gently nudging her, and she started up, thinking that Cloudpaw needed her, only to find herself standing in a wind-swept marsh. The cat beside her was holding out a leaf of comfrey. Yellowfang didn't recognize him, but he bore the scent of ShadowClan, and the scent of herbs too in his thick gray pelt. As she took the leaf, Yellowfang heard a thin wailing by her paws, and looked to see a tiny tabby kit, with blood trickling from his scratched ear. Yellowfang bent her head and chewed up the comfrey leaf so that the juice trickled onto the kit's ear. At once the wound closed up as if it had never been there, leaving no scar. Raising her head again, Yellowfang saw the gray cat was holding out a different leaf. Beyond him, there was another cat, and then another. A line stretching out into the distance as far as Yellowfang could see. They were passing herbs to one another, sending the leaves along a line to Yellowfang in a hushed silence. They're all medicine cats, Yellowfang realized with astonishment. And I'm one of them. At the end of this line, treating this cat, with all of their support and wisdom to help me. A feeling of deep peace crept over her. She took another leaf, catmint this time, and held it out to a little brown kit who was coughing badly. The kit swallowed and stopped coughing and faded away. A mist rose and blotted out the other cats of the marshland where they stood. Yellowfang was roused by a whimpering noise close by. Cloudpaw squirmed in his nest, letting out feeble cries. His whole body was burning with fever. Yellowfang dripped more water into his mouth and laid a paw gently on his shoulder in an effort to stop the movement. "Keep still, little one," she murmured. "You'll open your wound again." The moment he settled, she got up to visit the herb stores again, finding what she needed more by scent than touch in the faint starlight. Sage Whisker stirred behind her. How is he?" she asked, her voice blurry with sleep. "Feverish," Yellowfang responded, finally finding the herb she was looking for. "Cloudpaw!" The yowl startled Yellowfang, and she turned to see Nettlespot pushing her way between the boulders into the den. "I have to see my son!" she meowed. Sage Whisker rose from her nest and blocked Nettlespot before she could reach Cloudpaw. "It's the middle of the night," she told her. "Cloudpaw mustn't be disturbed. Come back tomorrow." "But I need to see him," Nettlespot insisted. "Not now." Sage Whisker's voice was gentle. "Cloudpaw needs his rest, I promise you. If he gets worse, we'll call you." Nettlespot hesitated, and then turned and left the den, her tail drooping. Yellowfang was glad to see her go, though she could understand her fear. It's hard for her," Sage Whisker commented, as she padded over to look down at Cloudpaw. Her expression grew even more worried. "Yellowfang," she whispered, "you can't save every cat." "No, but I can save this one," Yellowfang growled. "I'm giving him dandelion. That should bring the fever down and help him sleep." Sage Whisker nodded. "Mix in a couple of borage leaves," she suggested. Yellowfang chewed up the herbs and thrust the pulp between Cloudpaw's jaws. As the night wore on, she repeated the treatment, not caring how low the stalks of herbs were growing. Cloudpaw must live. Nothing else matters. As the dawn light began to seep into the sky, there was a movement at the entrance of the den, and Raggedpelt pushed his way in between the boulders. "How is he?" he croaked. "Holding his own," Yellowfang replied. She felt her heart ache as she watched the tabby warrior bend over the motionless form of his apprentice. As Raggedpelt drew away, she met his gaze. "I will save him," she vowed. She couldn't speak of what they had been doing when Cloudpaw was hurt. She could see that Raggedpelt would never speak of it either. Their guilt ran too deep. "I've ordered more border patrols," Raggedpelt told her, "to make sure those rogues don't come back." Yellowfang nodded. "Don't let the apprentices patrol there until we know it's safe," she advised. Raggedpelt gave a brusque nod. "Of course not." He left, and Yellowfang remained by Cloudpaw's side. Throughout the day, one by one, the members of ShadowClan crept into the den to visit him. Yellowfang kept guard over the apprentice, not letting any of his visitors stay for long, even Nettlespot, whose panic over her kit was no help at all. As the sun was going down again, Sage Whisker tapped Yellowfang on the shoulder with her tail. "It's time you cut out of here for a while," she meowed. "You can't care for Cloudpaw if you fall ill yourself. Go for a walk around the camp, have some fresh kill and a drink. You'll feel much better. I'll keep an eye on him." Reluctantly, Yellowfang stumbled into the clearing and wandered around in a daze, aware of the glances of other cats. Every one of them knew how ill Cloudpaw was. Anyway, so Yellowfang goes off on her break, and she thinks about things for a while. But let's get back to the real guy here, Cloudpaw. Another long night's vigil with Cloudpaw stretched in front of her. The apprentice had not recovered consciousness, but Yellowfang, watching him as if he were a piece of prey she was about to pounce on, thought that his breathing seemed a little stronger. Once again, she raised her eyes to StarClan, shining in frosty splendor above her. "Take me if you must," she prayed with all her heart. "But save him! None of this is his fault. I'm so sorry." Eventually, worn out by grief and guilt, Yellowfang dropped into a light, troubled sleep. She woke to find Sage Whisker prodding her shoulder. Panicking, she sprang to her paws. "Is it Cloudpaw?" she demanded. "Is he worse?" Sage Whisker's eyes were gleaming. "No," she purred. "He's waking up. He's still in a lot of pain, but he's asking for water." Yellowfang gazed down at the apprentice. His blue eyes were glazed, but his breathing was normal and the fever was down. "Ugh, I'm so thirsty," he meowed. "And my belly hurts." "Oh, it will hurt for a while yet," Yellowfang told him, while Sage Whisker brought him some wet moss. "But it means you're getting better. Now keep still and I'll put a fresh dressing on your wound." Once Yellowfang had fastened a new poultice in place, she left Sage Whisker to look after Cloudpelt while she went into the clearing in search of Raggedpelt. She found him in the clearing, organizing the day's patrols. He turned away from the other cats and bounded up to her with a desperate question in his eyes. "Cloudpaw has woken up," Yellowfang meowed before he could say anything. "He's not out of trouble yet, but the worst of the infection is cleared." Raggedpelt closed his eyes and let out a vast sigh of relief. "Oh, thank you," he murmured. And now we're springing forward a little bit, so now Cloudpaw is up and walking, yay! "A short walk, mind you," Sage Whisker instructed. "Just as far as the fresh kill pile and back. You don't want to tire yourself out for the first time out of the den." 2 more days had passed. Cloudpaw was recovering fast, and was well enough to be allowed into the clearing for a little while. He scraped the earth of the den floor impatiently, though Yellowfang guessed he would be glad to get back into his nest before he'd walked many paw steps. "I'll go with him," she offered. Outside the camp, lots of his clanmates were waiting to greet the apprentice. "Cloudpaw! Cloudpaw!" they yelled as he appeared. Cloudpaw gave Yellowfang a bewildered look. "Why are they calling my name?" "Because you fought bravely," Cedar Star told him, patting up. "We'll make you a warrior as soon as you're better." Cloudpaw stumbled as he tried to give an excited bounce. "Thank you," he mewed, tipping his head to his clan leader. Nettlespot dashed up, brushing past Cedar Star in her haste to get to her son. "My precious kid," she purred. "Oh, Yellowfang, thank you! Thank you!" "I only did my duty," Yellowfang murmured. Cloudpaw looked almost overwhelmed as Rowanberry and the other cats of the patrol clustered around him. "Cloudpaw, it's great to see you again," Rowanberry meowed. Before Cloudpaw could respond, Yellowfang pressed closer to his side, fixing Rowanberry and the others with a stern glance. "Give him some space," she ordered. "He's barely back on his paws." She spotted Raggedpelt at the edge of the crowd and steered Cloudpaw over to him and away from the others. Raggedpelt looked down at him and bowed his head. "I'm sorry I let you get hurt," he meowed. Cloudpaw looked baffled. "It wasn't your fault," he protested. "I should have scented those rogues before they ambushed us. I let you down." "No, not at all," Raggedpelt murmured, turning away. Soon, Yellowfang spotted the pain in her apprentice's eyes and saw his head beginning to droop. She steered him back to the medicine cat's den. "You're so good at caring for every cat," Cloudpaw mewed as she settled him back into his nest. "You'd make a great mother. Do you ever regret that you won't have kids of your own?" Yellowfang blinked. "The whole clan are my kids," she replied. "I don't have time to single any out." Cloudpaw nodded. "I guess that's what it means to be a medicine cat. It must be tough, though," he added. "I'm really looking forward to having a mate and kids of my own." "You're very young to be thinking about that," Yellowfang teased him. "There's plenty of time for you to father kits with some poor queen and keep me busy." Cloudpaw let out a morale of laughter, and then followed it with a huge yawn. He closed his eyes and immediately drifted into sleep. Sage Whisker was tidying the herb stores. "Yellowfang, you have done a great thing by healing this cat," she meowed, her eyes glowing as she gazed at Yellowfang. "A lot of other medicine cats, and I'm one of them, would have given up on him and let ShadowClan decide." The medicine cat stretched out her tail and touched Yellowfang on the shoulder. "It's time you ended your apprenticeship and became a full medicine cat." "Wow," Yellowfang exclaimed. "Oh, Sage Whisker, thank you." "I'm ready for this," she thought. "Saving Cloudpaw meant everything to me. I know this is my destiny." so I will give up Ragged Pelt and never look back. Wow, that's crazy. So Cloudpelt was such an important part of Yellowfang's journey into fully accepting being a medicine cat and showing her full range of skills. She did so much to save his life, and he is so lucky that she was the medicine cat. Because yeah, honestly, a lot of other warrior cat medicine cats are like, meh, let StarClan decide, which pretty much means I'm too lazy to heal them, let's just see if they die or not. I don't know.
Just like Running Nose with White Throat and Little Cloud, who's like, yeah, I'm too busy healing the leader, so go die, okay?
Pretty much all of ShadowClan. So yeah, she's a good ShadowClan menacing cat for once. So yeah, we gotta really appreciate her. But yeah, Cloudpaw is cool. I'm so happy that he didn't die because he makes a pretty good deputy for the 15 minutes or so that he is deputy. So yay! Well, I wanted to say thank you so much for sticking through this super long speed paint. Hope you enjoyed it, and be sure to tune in next time for the next day of Cloudpelt week. Until then, love you guys all so much!
Goodbye, guys!